declaration of support for community living.
In Canada today, many thousands of Canadians with
intellectual disabilities remain trapped in large segregated
institutions inappropriately and unjustifiably
segregated from society.
They remain for the most part hidden and removed from the mainstream of society, despite a collective knowledge based on research and practice over the past 30 years that with proper community-based supports, all persons with intellectual disabilities thrive in the community. They remain in these institutions as a result of inaction by governments and communities. Therefore,
given that Canadians with intellectual disabilities are citizens and as such have equal rights to full inclusion and life in the community, are valued contributing members of our society and are entitled, regardless of the severity of their disability, to community living.
Affirming that disability is a natural part of human diversity and that persons with intellectual disabilities, as other human beings, are entitled to basic human rights and fundamental freedoms as embedded in our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The other national and international laws, conventions, and standards.
Defining an institution as any place in which people with an intellectual disability are isolated, segregated, and/or congregated. Any place in which people do not have or are not allowed to exercise control over their lives and their day-to-day decisions.
Recognizing that institutions deny citizenship and life in the community.
Knowing that institutions do not and cannot contribute to the health and well-being of persons with intellectual disabilities.
Acknowledging the abuses that have been and continuing to be committed against persons with intellectual disabilities within these institutions.
Concerned that persons with intellectual disabilities are still being admitted to institutions rather than being supported to live dignified lives in the community.
Saddened by the stories told by persons who have spent years in these institutions.
Outraged by the fact that these institutions still exist despite the availability of other, more appropriate community-based alternatives.
United in the vision of a truly inclusive Canada, based on the values of freedom, choice, and equality.
We individually and collectively
commit to working together to assist persons
to return to their communities and call on all levels of government
in this country to
acknowledge that institutions for persons with intellectual disabilities have no place in today's society.
Stop financing or otherwise supporting the establishment of new institutions for persons with intellectual disabilities.
Stop all admissions to existing institutions.
Support the right of all people with disability to live in the community as equal citizens.
Committed the necessary resources to support the development of quality, comprehensive, community-based alternatives to institutional care.
Acknowledge the wrongs that have been committed against us individuals who have been held far too long in institutions across this country.
Sign the declaration.
Please sign the declaration. It's important to all of us.